Shegeda. Yes. Now, as we are moving forward to the other story, Tariq, and you have the details, so sorry, I'm sure about that, of the people who were arrested in the brothel in Waise. Only not good details to it. Tariq, I'm not doing it because
no strings attached. Tell us what exactly happened, how many people were arrested, for what reason, and then what happened. Just tell us. No strings attached.
Sex trade. Sex trade abantu abakwatibwa mu watumbi budde nga kawungezi musaza curfew na biki nga bo bali mulimu gwabwe ogwo era nga bageza kuba ekikina bwasanzewo n'omwana juvenile omwana omuto natuka myaka kuba nti abeera mu mbeera z'okubeera nga tunda akaboozi so kyabadde kyannaku nyina nga kyennamiza nti olwaliro simanyi oba tukibalire ku bwavu olumye nnyo abantu tukibalire kuba nti abantu bagwamu ensa tubakire kuba nti abantu tebakyalina ddiini mu mitima naye nga poliisi yeegamba nti okola ekintu kino eno bategezebbwako bafunye intelligence wala batabaguddewo ebifo bingi bayogedde ebifo bingi bayogedde ne ku front page hotel eri awo ezana nga nayo nti era nayo bagenze bakwatayo abantu abamu bakwata nga 45 nabo basanga budde bwa kiro kuba tebanakubanga tugula mabaala nga tebali mu budde bwa kiro front page endonga ekuba bali mu kunywa bbiya zaabwe bali mu bikola ebyabwe naye nga poliisi yeegamba nti ebikolwa ne bakola bisobola nga byongera okuba nti bitambuza ekyola ekyakkola tukimanyi bulungi ebindwadde endala ez'enjawulo tutamanya ate nga ne mateeka batinaba kubanga ziggulwawo so kati tusaba bannaye bannayuganda kituufu njatuddeyo poliisi nze banozete ekibuuzo abantu baweddemu essuubi nti balirakisinze nti kolona takyaliyo kikyongera tulaga ki kubanga kibanga omutuufu otambula tubeere bamazima essaawa bw'otambula oje zonna zaggulawo dda zikola mabaala gakola bamenyiwa amabaala kati nga
simanyi mabaala gakola
olwenda ne poliisi ekyogedde bulungi tutuna ape boys wali ku Ntebe Road baga backstage bakola ape boys kusega bakola balabamba zonna bazimye nti zikola kizikola front page enayo baala nekiwote na baala naye basanza bakola ki ekola so ate ng'olaba nti abantu bangi abagenda mu bifo ebyo ebisanyukirwa wamu era nga bikola gigenda kubanga biggulwawo kyogenda kubanga kitulaga ki
ekyo nno kyekigenda okuba nga kitulagala Tariq, it still goes back to the government. One question is, we have been hit so badly by the pandemic. Era ekibuuzo kiri nti government erina enteekateeka gy'ereeta oba gy'ereese okuddaabulula abantu post-COVID over how to deal with the effects of the pandemic. That is a question. When you look at these people, these are all effects of the pandemic, okay? Ekyo kishiddayo ekibuuzo kye twebuuza, government eyina enteekateeka ey'enjawulo gy'ereeta okulaba nga eddaabulula ebyenfuna by'abantu post-COVID-19. Twalabye omusomesa eyali headmaster omulamba nga becoming street beggar, okay? We have economies that are still under lockdown, yet the perception that is within the public, people have come to believe that there is no COVID-19. How are you going to convince people that there is COVID-19, yet those that are supposed to enforce the SOPs are the ones violating them? Okay? These are questions that is ebiri mu bantu. Personally, I endeavor to go downtown, okay? Nga nebuuza ku bantu bange aba wansi mu Kisenyi, wansi na Kivowa. When you see how those people live, you will hardly believe that there is COVID in this country. People have resorted to live like we are in the post-COVID period, okay? This goes back to those who are planning for this country, okay? Twina abantu nga bolabye abakyala babadde ba paradinze. Nabo kafuka kalimu. Okay, we bajje ekyokulya. Me, I can't blame them. Actually, I need to cut them a slack. Kuba we bajje ekyokulya. But these are COVID-19 or pandemic effects that government needs to look into.
Now, we have 11,443 COVID-19 cases in the country, and we have 101 deaths in the country, although we have 7,351 recoveries. But here's the problem, Tariq and someone, Chris. We call it partial choosing of enforcing the law. Now you see the people that were arrested. Before we go to that story, Waliyo Ebala that is in Kampala that is actually being protected by the army and the government and the party continues. Now when we choose to enforce the law according to what we think is right, nobody is going to follow the law, because you're showing them it is okay for some people to do some things and it is okay for some people not to do other things. Tosobola kungamba waliyo ebale zamanyi in Kampala that keep partying every night, and it is under the protection of the army itself and the others that are partying muzikwata. People are still going to keep breaking
and people
the
watching.
Law. That's what I'm saying. People are going to keep breaking the law.
But then police came in. Police were you know what happened? Within a second, an inch of a time, nobody atama police
That is what I'm saying.
When are Uganda?
Because abantu abakungu mu government, they own these bars.
So
that's what I'm saying.
And people watching. That's my worry.
And now you're telling them you have to follow the COVID-19 updates. COVID-19 rules. Again, you're breaking it. Yes. You have bars that are working. Yes. Why are you stopping us from working? Then now it has become the first class versus the lower class. Kumanga, if you have money, then you can pay off the police. Mugende mutuleke tupatinge, and the people who don't have money are the people who come out in news. Kumanga buli omu ali mukupatinga. You get it? So that is the sad situation in our country. What are we doing as the leaders in our country? What kind of example are we showing? Because what you set, the example you set is what people are going to show, not what you preach. Because you say, how does the saying go? Follow what I preach, not what I do. But I mean, that doesn't make sense. You're preaching and telling me follow the SOP measures, but then you're breaking them. How am I supposed to follow that? Now, aside from that, we have a problem of child trafficking, and we've always had it. Adding on to the street kids that we're having in town. All these street kids are in town. Even the story that we've seen in the 33 being arrested and juveniles being part of the sex workers. There's a particular person who is bringing kids from Karamoja, Kabong, Eastern region, Nabaleta Mukampala, Nabataninga sex workers, very young kids. And that's because ayagala ku aninga sente. Now this child trafficking, and I've always asked, what are we doing as the government to protect these children? Kubanga, first of all, when we come to the issue of street kids, you're in the streets. And if a girl stays in the streets for too long, the other solution they have is to become a sex worker. Because that has become the easiest way to earn money. Among girls. Kati, what are we doing to protect these kids from being trafficked from wherever they are to town? That's a very important thing that we're supposed to look at as a government, as police, as the people who lead this country. These mega issues, Zigenaku developing into very big issues that we're going to fail to deal with. And it doesn't make sense.
And by the way, to add on to what you're saying, as we do exit from this, a budget of about 5.4 billion shillings was passed last year through the Ministry of Gender to relocate obokuja abana kungudo. It was passed as a supplementary to the what? To the national budget. So Chebusa
what did they do with that?
And
more girls are coming, more people are coming.
But we didn't see them anyway. We thought that budget
yeah, COVID-19. But how hard is it for KCCA to deal with the street kids? Kambuze. Kubanga, it's true. Some of them bava webali with their own transportation nebaja. But we also know that everything in this country happens with a plan. Someone is behind everything that happens in this country.
Let's do logic. How much does it cost from Karamoja to Kampala? About 50,
Because
30?
What I know is that to Countinge from, because I know the distance between Soroti to Mbale now has become 20,000 because of the COVID-19 situation. Now imagine from Karamoja, let's count 50. Let's estimate a 50,000.
Okay, let's say 50.
Yes.
From Karamoja to Kampala. How much can, how big can 50,000 do to a person in Karamoja? Quite a lot, right?
Apart from how big, do they have that money okubaleta from Karamoja to town?
That's where I'm heading. Oli wabafunye 50,000 to that person is a lot of money, okay? Chitegeza, there is somebody behind that who funds the transportation or kujja wano to become a what? An asset to that person. Echo tuchiveko.